And here we are once again. Good evening, folks. Mobile Giza here, back with Friday Night Tech Talk. And I hope everybody is having a very good week. And I am having a good week. And there's Vince right on time. Boy, your timing is perfect, brother. Ren's got in here a bit earlier. And before that, Eleanor had gotten in here very early. So I'm glad all three of you got here. Thanks for being here on time again, Vince. And if this is your first time here, we do this every Friday night. We talk about some of the tech stories from the past week, from last Friday to this Friday. And I have a website where I publish these stories with the show notes every week. So I'll share my screen and let you see that. So if you go to my website, which is mobilegiza.wordpress.com, click on the date at the top. It'll bring you to tonight's show notes and show you what stories we're going to be going over tonight. You click the links and you can follow along with the stories just as I read them. So tonight, we're going to talk about Samsung's brand new rugged phone that they're bringing to the U.S., I gather, very soon. I gather they haven't made a rugged phone in a little while, so it'll be interesting to see what that comes in. We don't have a price yet. It's going to be interesting to see what the price is like, too. After that, we're going to talk about the iPhone Island. What's the island called? Yeah, Dynamic Island on the iPhone 14 Pros. And there's already people copying it. There's an Android version already out there. And I gather Realme is asking their subscribers for suggestions about how to copy an island for themselves. So this has become a really big deal among Android folks. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And iOS 16.0.2 was just released yesterday, because with iOS 16, their cameras were having some shaking and some blurry photos when using third-party apps. So I gather they fixed that right away. And Annette is in here. Hi, Annette. Glad to have you here. Just getting started telling people what the stories are for tonight. After that, we're going to talk about the Pixel Watch, because Google is giving us an actual video showing us what the watch is like. So you're not going to hear the sound when I go into it, but I'll play it for you. It's about 35 seconds, I think. So we'll get a good look at the Pixel Watch, which I do plan to get. And then my last two stories, there's a photographer hobbyist who's very enamored with the iPhone 14 Pro camera, and he's going to tell us why. It's a pretty long article, but I just thought it was interesting from a professional point of view. And finally, I said a very fair review of the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, which you guys already know I have right here. And I know I owe you guys some Buds comparisons with this, with the Pixel Buds. I've just been hung up with a lot of stuff, and I wanted to get this one up. This is the LG tone-free T90Q, which I haven't even gotten an unboxing video up. I just haven't had time. So hopefully I'll get that up, and then we'll get to some actual comparisons between some of these buds starting next week. So that's the stories we're going to go over tonight. Haven't talked to Mike or Ted or even Will, so I don't know who's going to come in or not, but if they come in, I'll certainly let you guys know. Ted came in last week. They made a pretty good show. And that second to last article, the guy admiring the iPhone 14 Pro cameras, I would think Ted would be very interested in that one since his side business is photographer. So we'll see if he comes in at all. Let me put my regular branding stuff here like I always do. Anybody wants to give, the super chat is wide open, of course, as it always is. So get back to the comments. And we'll get started on our stories, and I'll let you know if anybody comes in. So back to share. And this one is on CNET. Come on. Tell me this thing is going to, okay, there it goes. Okay. Okay, Samsung's new rugged phone has custom buttons and a replaceable battery. I knew nothing about this until I found this story yesterday, I believe. It's launching in the US along with a rugged tablet after debuting in other markets. And this is by Lisa Chico. I tend to pronounce things the way Italians pronounce it because I was raised in Jersey. So let's put this in reader view and get rid of some of these ads. So I'm guessing, like me, this is probably the first most of you have even heard about this rugged phone. So Samsung is adding yet another phone to its US lineup. The Galaxy X Cover 6 Pro is a rugged device designed primarily for industrial and enterprise use, unlike Samsung's flagship Galaxy S22 family or premium foldable Galaxy Z phones. It will launch in the US on October 22nd, so we've got about a month away. After first debuting in other markets, and it's the South Korean company's first rugged phone with 5G capabilities, so their very first rugged 5G. US pricing hasn't been announced yet. The Galaxy X Cover 6 Pro can withstand drops of up to 1.5 meters, according to Samsung. Comes with a few specific features that aren't found on most phones, including programmable buttons and a replaceable battery. That's unique. Samsung is also launching its rugged tablet, the $649. It's funny that we have that price. Galaxy Tab Active 4 Pro in the US today. So that's why so I gather that came out in the US actually yesterday, $649. So I'll be watching for some of those reviews. Both devices were already announced for other markets earlier this year and retain many of the same features. They're both MIL standard 810H compliant, meaning they've undergone specific testing designed by the U.S. military to withstand a certain threshold of altitude, humidity, immersion, salt, fog, dust, vibration, and drops. The Galaxy X Cover 6 Pro and Galaxy Tab Active 4 Pro both have replaceable batteries. Wow. But the tablet can also function without a battery, drawing power from a vehicle or kiosk if it needs to be used continuously. That's a good idea. The phone and the tablet both support 5G. Each device has programmable buttons that can be customized to act as a shortcut for launching specific apps or features. While replaceable batteries and custom buttons sound like useful features for any phone, the Galaxy X Cover 6 Pro and Galaxy Tab Active 4 Pro were designed primarily for industrial use. Examples include public safety workers that might need to use the programmable button as the push-to-talk shortcut, or people working in transportation and logistics who may need to quickly communicate with dispatchers or leave devices in their vehicles under extreme weather conditions. I gotta believe that's going to cost some bucks. So this is what the Pro tablet looks like. On the inside, the Galaxy X Cover 6 Pro has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 778G processor, 6 gigabytes of RAM, and 128 gigabytes of storage that can be expanded to 1 terabyte via a micro SD card slot. Card slot and a removable battery. And when have we seen that, boy? It has a 6.6-inch screen and a dual-lens camera with 50 megapixel and 8 megapixel sensors. It's also one of the few smartphones to still come with a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. It's rated IP68 for dust and water resistance and has scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. Since these devices are designed for enterprise and industrial use, they'll both be available through Amazon Business and IT channel partners in addition to Samsung's website. The Galaxy X Cover 6 Pro is also coming to certain carriers, although Samsung hasn't said which ones. Samsung is the largest smartphone maker in the world in terms of shipments, claiming 21% of the global market, according to market research firm Canalys. And we've seen lots of stuff from Canalys before. I used to follow them when they had a weekly show. But its rugged devices face competition from other brands such as Caterpillar. I didn't even know they made rugged phones. And Kyocera, well, we knew that. Seen as Brian Cooley named Kyocera's DuraSport 5G, the Cat S62 Pro, Unihertz Atom XL, and Sonim XP8 among the best rugged devices on the market in 2021, alongside Samsung's previous X Cover Pro, which I knew nothing about. So they do have some competition when it comes to rugged phones. So I just thought it was interesting that there was this phone that I had yet to hear of, and it's coming out a month from now. So we'll see how that goes. Very interesting to me. And nothing new in the comments as yet. Anybody has a use for a rugged phone, I guess keep an eye out on October 22nd. Okay, so going to the next story. I'm watching to see if Mike or Ted or anybody comes in. Let me share screen again. Okay. I said island hopping has already begun. Android copying Apple's Dynamic Island. And this one is on The Verge, and everybody already has this story. I even saw Lou from Unbox Therapy talking about it. Okay, the Dynamic Island is already available on Android devices. Developer Jowomo has made an app that brings Apple's Dynamic Island to Android devices, aesthetically at least. So it sounds like maybe not perfect yet, but this was obviously rushed out. And this is by Alex Newcomb Bile, I guess. So let's go into reader view. Okay. I've always been on Team Android, but every so often Apple rolls out a feature that makes me just a little jealous. Thankfully, with the introduction of the divisive Dynamic Island, I didn't have to wait very long before somebody shoehorned that sweet pill-shaped void into the Android OS. The Dynamic Spot app, developed by user Jowomo, is currently available as an early access download from the Google Play Store. So Dynamic Spot app if you want it, folks. I'm still waiting for my 14 Pro Max to show up, and I believe it's on its way, and it left Alaska about 2 hours ago. So it's getting here. Been following since it left China and went to South Korea, and then today to Alaska. So I'll be getting my Dynamic Island on the original. You can currently check out the app for free, and it allows you to adjust the position and size of the island based on where the notch lives on your particular Android device. However, adding some of the more advanced functions like showing the island on your lock screen or tapping icons to open apps requires an additional $5 purchase. Okay. Guess it's fair depending on how hard it was to program. The dynamic spot doesn't have all the same features as Apple's version, but it's a start. Just know that, like any application in early access, not everything will always work as intended. And because this isn't a feature native to Android OS, a modest amount of finessing is required to get things working seamlessly. The Dynamic Spot app lets you adjust its size and location based on where the notch on your phone lives. There's that picture of it up there. So, okay. Where was I? Okay. Right now, the Dynamic Spot app feels mostly like an aesthetic edition, lacking much of the advanced functionality and polish of Apple's version of the island. However, the paid version of Dynamic Spot does include options to switch up how taps and presses interact with your notifications, a feature absent from Apple's island that earned a mention in our September 16th episode of the Vergecast. Dynamic Spot definitely feels like a work in progress, but is still impressive for an independent app and is an interesting way to change up how your notifications are delivered on your Android device. So this was some of their articles on it. So we already have it. So you can go out on the Play Store and download Dynamic Spot. You can figure out if you want to pay the $5 for the extra functionality. But everybody's kind of excited. And I'm excited to get it on my iPhone 14. So seems like a pretty cool thing. And I think Apple was very creative and inventive in getting that on there. So obviously everybody else thinks so too. Let me stop screen. Kill this one. Watching nothing new in the comments. None of the guys are in yet. So now we'll go to our next iOS story. So I just said Apple already updates iOS 16 to fix a camera bug in third-party apps. This one I pulled from TechCrunch, but again, this story was all over the place. So let's click on there. Apple fixes camera shaking issues and the paste permissions bug in today's iOS 16 update. This was yesterday, and I downloaded it last night on my, because I already had iOS 6 on my 12 Pro, which is on the other side of the room, so I won't run over and get it. So, of course, I hadn't seen the issues with the third-party apps as yet. And I use my iPhone every other day. So I used it yesterday, but not today. Okay. So, and this was by Sarah Perez. Let's go into Reader View. Apple today released the first major update to its new iOS 16 mobile operating system ahead of schedule. Earlier this week, Apple confirmed it would roll out an update next week aimed at addressing a handful of bugs that have been plaguing users, including an annoying copy and paste permissions related bug, and another that saw the camera shake when recording video in a number of third-party apps, including TikTok. Well, I can see why it got important, because TikTok's like the most popular app there is. Snapchat and Instagram. The company told us and other reporters at the time that the fix for these and other bugs would arrive sometime next week, but had not provided an exact launch date. iOS 16 users then were surprised when they found the iOS 16.0.2 update arriving late on Thursday afternoon. That's right, I got mine last night. According to the update text, this release addresses an issue, and they do mention it in the announcement, with the iPhone camera, which may vibrate and cause blurry photos when shooting with some third-party apps on iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max, it read. Apple had not detailed what was causing the camera to shake, but it appears to be a software issue only. That makes sense, as it's being fixed via an iOS update. The problem was not widespread, however. That's good. TechCrunch iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max owners couldn't replicate the issue themselves, for instance. So I guess it couldn't have been that widespread. But I'm glad they got it fixed before I get mine, because I'm sure mine will update as soon as I start it up. Another frustrating problem was the barrage of pop-ups asking users if the app had permission to read the data from the clipboard. The permissions feature had been designed to protect users' privacy, as the prompt would highlight when apps were reading the clipboard where sensitive data could be stored, even when users may not have been aware that it was happening. TikTok, why am I not surprised, for instance, was found guilty of snooping on clipboard data, as were dozens of other iOS apps. But in iOS 16, the prompt was appearing repeatedly, which became distracting and annoying. An Apple exec recently admitted in an email to an impacted user, reported by MacRumors, that the page permissions pop-ups did not represent the intended behavior and would soon be fixed, which I gather probably is now. He suggested the issue was not caught internally at Apple during tests, but the company acknowledged many users were having the same problem. So it sounds like the pop-up was more of an issue than the shaking even. This too is among today's fixes, the update text notes. Also being addressed with this release is an issue where VoiceOver wasn't available upon reboot. That's weird. Another where touch input was unresponsive on some older models, 10, 10R, and 11, and a problem where the display appeared completely black during the device setup. That's not good. There was a hint that Apple had moved fast to address this early set of bugs when beta testers found these issues patched in the latest public beta 2, released yesterday. The iOS 16.0.2 software update is rolling out now to all iOS users. If you don't see it yet, you can visit the software update section and settings to check for the update to right. Yeah, mine was right there, and I think it even updated a little bit quicker than usual, because iOS updates usually take a while, but this didn't take as long as I thought it would. So just glad it's there. So anybody that has iOS 6, time for you to get that update if you haven't gotten it already. So, none of the guys have come in yet, so you know it's going to be a quick and early show if none of the other guys comes in and we have no other discussions. As always, folks, any comments you have to make, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'll grab them as soon as I see them. Okay. So the next story is about the Pixel Watch, which I will be getting. I'm not positive that I'm going to get the 7, the Pixel 7, but I'm definitely going to get the watch. I've been excited for it for a long time. So this one was on Tom's Guide. So just click on that. And it was mainly I wanted you guys to get a look at that video, but we'll read the whole story and we'll get to the video. So Google Pixel Watch just revealed from every angle in a new video. Now this video was posted by Google. A little is left to the imagination by Katie Coots. Coots, I guess. It's my best pronunciation of it. So we'll go into reader view. If I have to come back to regular view, we will. Okay. The Google Pixel Watch design might have been teased before, but Google just showed off its first smartwatch from every angle. In a video aptly titled "The Design of Google Pixel Watch," the upcoming device is demonstrated for approximately 30 seconds straight. That's true. Again, we have an idea of what the Pixel Watch looks like. We've had an idea what the Pixel Watch looks like ever since Google announced it during I/O earlier this year. The first images also happen to resemble prior Pixel Watch renders shared by Tipster John Prosser. Sharing the video was likely a move to increase anticipation for the full Pixel Watch reveal. I wonder if that means Google's not thinking it's going to sell well. I don't know. Which is expected to happen during the Made by Google event on October 6th. So you don't have too long to wait. But I'm not sure it's even possible to anticipate the first Pixel Watch anymore. As we see it, it's the product Pixel owners have been waiting for. I certainly have. So let me take it out of reader view in case it shows up a little better in the video. Now you're not going to hear it, but it's just some background music. But we will take a quick look at. I can hear it, but you won't hear it. So it just does show it from every angle. I think that's probably the color band I'm going to get. Just wanted to make sure I let this play all the way through. I kind of like it, but I like round watches. So that's the whole video, folks. Let's go back to reader view. Okay. So the video does confirm previous intel that the Pixel Watch is coming in silver, gold, and black finishes. It doesn't, however, show off the rumored watch band selection. That's, I think, the color that I want to get. I think it's called lemongrass, and that's the color that my Pixel Buds is in. Let's show you that. So that's that same color there, and so is my case, but for that matter. Probably can't tell it in this light. So I'm expecting that's the color I'll get from my band. All we see is a sporty silicone-looking strap in colors. We can't tell whether there are multiple sizes confirmed either. That's true. Here is our, that's Apple Watch Series 8. Okay. We do go to our best look yet at the Pixel Watch's digital crown, though, which is over here. It looks quite similar to the Apple Watch's digital crown. Yes, it does, but it doesn't sit as flush to the curved chassis. The crown button seems to have tactile grooves. Yeah, you can see that. Perhaps offering some satisfying feedback while navigating the smartwatch. Thanks to this new video, we can also tell for sure that the Pixel Watch has one navigation button, okay, that sits above the digital crown on the right side. So somewhere over here, I guess. Do I see it here? Oh yeah, here it is. You can't see it up there, okay. It appears that the speaker cutout is on the left side, and though we can't see a microphone cutout, we'll guess it's near the speaker. The Pixel Watch is one of the curviest looking smartwatches we've ever seen. I tend to like that. That's just me. But will this help it become one of the best smartwatches or best smartwatches for Android even? It's still too early to tell, but there's a lot going for the Pixel Watch so far. For one, it should feature the optimized version of I guess it should say the most optimized version of Wear OS yet, plus leverage Fitbit's fitness tracking features. The rumored price range of $349 to $399 also suggests Google is planning for the Pixel Watch to keep up with the likes of Apple Watch and Galaxy Watch. Yeah. If they're making any kind of mistake, I think they may be pricing this too high. Brian's in here saying hi to everybody, and as always, being very kind to me and giving me a super chat right away. Thanks, Brian, as always, brother. So we got the full look at the Pixel Watch. Brian, if you click on the story in the show notes, you can click on this video, and it gives you a 35-second look, a complete look at the Pixel Watch, which I'll be getting. I like a lot, but that's just me. But like I said, if there's a mistake, I think they might be pricing it too high, but since they want to compete with Apple and Galaxy, I guess they have to. So we'll see. We'll know more in just a few weeks. The Pixel Watch joins the Google Pixel 7 series as the headliners of Google's fall hardware lineup, which will be entirely revealed on October 6th. So we got 2 weeks to go. So I'm pretty excited for that. That's not screen. Okay, nothing new there. The other guys have come in. 2 weeks ago was it? Ted came in about 5 minutes before I was getting ready to shut down. Last week he came in right at the beginning, which was great. So we'll see. All right, so we'll go on to the next story. Now, this is going to be quite a long story. I'll probably just jump around in it, but I just thought the admiration this professional has for the iPhone 4, some admiration for the iPhone 14 Pro camera from a professional / hobbyist. And this was on CNET. And Ted, this story is for you. I would want you in here because this story is totally about this professional / hobbyist admiring the iPhone 14 Pro camera. So I was hoping that this would suck you in, but this sounds like it's going to be right up your alley, and it's a pretty long article, so I'll jump around on it somewhat. Okay, so if you pop in, I will bring you in right away. So I'm going to go, this is on CNET. And why the iPhone 14 Pro camera is a big leap for photo enthusiasts. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying it's not such a big deal over the 13. This is the best article I've seen in why it's giving good concrete reasons why this guy says what he does. So that's good. If you care a lot about photos, the newest high-end iPhones improve image quality in several ways. Now, in this one, I'm going to probably jump back and forth between Reader View because it seems like there's some pictures you can see in Reader View and he's describing them as we go. So maybe I'll just stay out of Reader View for now. Okay. Thanks to the iPhone 14 Pro, it's a good time to be a serious photographer. Apple's newest smartphone, which packs a 48 megapixel sensor, delivers significant improvements in image quality, not just for the average person, but also for photo enthusiasts and pros trying to get the most out of their smartphone cameras. I'm one of those people, shooting professionally some of the time and as a hobbyist the rest of the time. I've been putting my iPhone 14 Pro through its paces, and after 6 days of shooting and pixel peeping, I'm impressed with the technology improvements, and he really backs up everything he says. Three highlights in the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max stand out. The main camera's 48 megapixel resolution, better image quality on the main, and ultra wide angle cameras so photos look more natural, and the improved low light performance on all three of the rear cameras. So that's good. Mainstream folks should appreciate them, as my colleague Patrick Holland observes in his iPhone 14 Pro review and camera testing, but serious shooters can really benefit. The ability to shoot better photos is one of the more obvious ways you can see advancements in the latest iPhone. You might not notice processor speeds or display quality improving from 1 year to the next, but camera quality shows progress more visibly. And competitively, with Samsung offering more powerful 10 times zoom lenses and Google pioneering computational photography, Apple has to work hard to keep iPhone fans loyal. Fortunately, Apple has raised its game too. I've scrutinized hundreds of photos to compare with my iPhone 14 Pro with the iPhone 13 Pro. Here's what I've learned. Wait, quick sip from me. And this guy lays out the pictures and explains what we're looking at very nicely. Okay, the iPhone 14 Pro's 48 megapixel camera is great. My favorite improvement to the iPhone 14 Pro is the 48 megapixel sensor on the main camera, the one that gets the most use. I love diving into the details of each photo. So here he says, I love peeping at the details. The iPhone 14 Pro's main camera captures at 48 megapixels. Even though high megapixel counts can impair image quality at the pixel level, Apple's sensor is big enough to capture good color and dynamic range. And if we enlarge it, you can get a pretty good idea of what he's talking about here. So I think that shows it very nicely. And we're just getting started with him taking pictures and explaining himself. But I like the fact that he allowed us to enlarge things and see them better. For most folks, the iPhone 14 Pro models will shoot at 12 megapixels, combining 4 pixels on the image sensor into one through a process called pixel binning. Because Apple increased the sensor size, image quality improves compared with 12 megapixel shots on earlier phones. But the more adventurous can shoot with all 48 pixels. That quadruples pixel count and triples file sizes, but gives you the flexibility to crop or rotate your photos without losing detail and resolution, which of course would be very important to professionals. If you like viewing or printing your photos in large sizes, having 48 megapixels is great. At 240 pixels per inch, a common setting for high quality prints, you can print 48 megapixel photos at, now get this, 25.2 times 33.6 in size instead of 12.6 times 16.8. So big difference for the 12 megapixels. Stop that. Take 48 megapixel size. You must use Apple's Pro to take 48 megapixel size. You must use Apple's ProRAW format, an option enabled to the camera's app format settings. Many serious photographers already prefer that for its advantages in editing, better flexibility with color, exposure, sharpening. ProRAW is a computational RAW format, meaning that it combines multiple frames into one photo and performs other tricks to squeeze in as much image quality as possible out of a smartphone's relatively small sensor. So he's done one at the regular 12, one with the full 48, and he's put the phone just to give you some scale. So that's how big the phone is. This is the normal picture. This is with the 48 megapixels. So let's enlarge. And I think you can see the big difference here. This is what most people are going to get. This is what you're going to get with the RAW format. And I think that is pretty stunning. Now, yes, it's going to take up a ton of room on your phone, unless, of course, you're backing it up. But I think that's pretty stunning. At the left, the 12.6 by 16.8 inch print you can make with a 12 megapixel photo, this one, printed at 240 pixels per inch. In the middle, the iPhone 14 Pro for scale. At right, the 25.2 by 33.6 print you can make with the iPhone 14 Pro's 48 megapixel camera. Like I said, I think that's very impressive. Low light shooting is better on the iPhone 14 Pro. The bigger sensor on the iPhone 14 Pro's main camera improves shooting at nighttime or when conditions are dim. I compared a lot of low light photos, many of them taken with Apple's night mode, and some of them mounted on a tripod to eliminate problems from shaking hands. This one's pretty impressive, I think. The 14 Pro's main camera takes appreciably better shots, preserving more shadow detail, and we'll see that, and color than the 13 Pro. The dynamic range is also better, capturing a broader range between bright and dark. I think this is very impressive. It's not what you'd get out of a full-frame SLR or a mirrorless camera from the likes of Sony, Nikon, or Canon, but it's impressive. So here he explains it. And I'll show you, I'll go side by side and let you see. The comparison above shows the same nighttime shot, deliberately overexposed to reveal shortcomings in darker parts of the scene, which is easy to see. The iPhone 13 Pro photo at the left suffers from more noise, less detail, and worse color than the iPhone 14 Pro shot at the right. Both were shot at 12 megapixel resolution with Apple's night mode. So this is not even using the 48. So there's the 13 Pro. And you can see some of the darkened stuff here. We're getting a little more blown out lighting up here. If we go over to the 14 Pro, see the difference? See how it's more blown out in the 13, but it's quite a bit better on the 14. The little house, I guess it's a house here, looks a lot better and certainly a lot less put out. And the shadows look way better over here. So, and you can see the clarity is much, much better. So I just think it's very impressive the way he's showing us the difference and explaining the difference. I think it's awesome. Okay, so continue. Makes me glad I went for the 14 Pro Max. Not that I'll take professional pictures, but I still like the differences I'm seeing here. And I'm going from a 12 Pro to a 14 Pro Max, so I'm probably going to see bigger differences. The ultra-wide camera gets a similar improvement from the 13 Pro to the 14 Pro, though its performance isn't as good as the main cameras. Nighttime shots peering into my house show less noise where it's dark and better detail and color everywhere. If you edit your photos, that translates to more flexibility. You can boost shadows and ease blowing out highlights without introducing as many artifacts like noise speckles or posterization when there's not enough data for smooth tone gradations. And the better dynamic range helps when it's bright too. For example, with bright skies that look more natural. And that's the other thing I noticed here. The sky looks way better in the 14. So here he says, I'm impressed with the 14 Pro's dynamic range, capturing bright highlights and deep shadows pretty well in this nighttime shot at 12 megapixels with pixel binning technology. That is a pretty nice shot. We can't expand this one, but I like that shot. I like the sky particularly. It's more natural looking and less affected by noise speckles than the same shot with the 13 Pro, which he didn't give us the one with the 13 Pro. So now these are impressive, I think, too. The telephoto camera captures more detail. For several years, Apple has used an AI-based image analysis technique called Deep Fusion to preserve details and color in dim and dark lighting. In the latest iPhone 14 generation, Apple's photonic engine technology runs Deep Fusion early in the image processing pipeline to preserve texture and color better. It works on all the cameras, but I appreciate it most on the telephoto lens that otherwise doesn't appear to have been changed from the 13 Pro to the 14 Pro. So in one shot of a houseplant I took in the evening, I could clearly see the fine detail on the 14 Pro shot that was absent with the 13 Pro. You can compare the two above. So here's the 13 Pro. Let's take a good look at the ribs we're seeing here. Okay. And the HDR, I think it's cleaner here on the 14, but yeah, big difference, I think. And you can see a lot of detail here. On the 13, you don't get so much detail there. You get some, but nowhere near as much. So anyway, I think he backs up everything he's saying very nicely. For another photo of a dark oil painting I shot when it was dim, the iPhone 13 Pro chose to use its main camera and upscale the photo digitally with predictably mushy results. The iPhone 14 Pro used its telephoto camera, so it made the choice for him and captured vastly more detail, aided perhaps by the photonic engine and by improved image stabilization. Apple didn't sacrifice image quality for 48 megapixels. Notably, Apple increased the main camera with a good balance of resolution and picture quality. Increasing pixel count can require decreasing pixel size to fit them all on a sensor. The problem is that smaller pixels are worse when it comes to color, noise, and capturing a broader dynamic range. And we've seen that with other phones, at least I have, between bright and dark areas of an image. When using pixel binning to produce 12 megapixel images, the iPhone 14 Pro's pixels are effectively 65% larger than on the iPhone 13 Pro, and image quality improves accordingly. And sounds like Mike's going to come in here in a little while, so kind of just in time. But anyway, I'm glad we got a chance to go in depth with this story because I think people will want to know about the camera on the 14. But while shooting at 48 megapixels, even though the pixels are 59% smaller than on the 13 Pro, they're still big enough to produce photos with marvelous detail and good color. The iPhone 14 Pro's main camera photographed our dog's fur with crisp detail, even at 48 megapixels. This is a crop 2048 pixels wide. So if we go to enlarge, look at that. That's what I call detail. That's some serious detail there. So I love the way he explains everything that he's talking about in the photographs. The small pixels would be a problem when conditions are dim, but when shooting in night mode or using a flash, the iPhone 14 Pro sidesteps the problem by shooting only 12 megapixel photos. So it selects it for him, which is good. The 2x telephoto camera is a cool trick. A clever trick with the 48 megapixel camera is just using the central quarter of the image to take 12 megapixel shots with a narrower field of view. So it's honing in basically and not using all of it. Apple shows this option as a 2x camera in the camera app. It's a good idea because 2x zoom is often nicer than the more dramatic 3x telephoto camera for mid-range subjects, and I've seen that very much to be true. It works with the video too. Let's see, Brian saying, I heard the zoom camera is better than the S22 Ultra up to 9 times, but beyond that, the Samsung is better. Yes, and I think everybody pretty much gives Samsung credit. When they go to that 10 times, they're still a king. But I heard that the zoom is better in some regards also. So I'm just glad I ordered that phone. And now, of course, I don't have the Ultra. I have the Samsung S22 Plus, which I think is just about as good when it comes to photographs. So I'll be doing a lot of comparisons there. I just love the way this guy wrote the story and explained everything and gave us examples of everything. Optics nerds will rightly point out that the lens properties haven't changed, which means you get some wide-angle issues like a deeper depth of field that makes it harder to isolate portrait subjects from their backgrounds. And I didn't talk about this. Look at this shot. The iPhone 14 Pro's 2x camera, which just uses the central 12 megapixels, so just the ones in the middle, of the 1x camera's 48 megapixels, provides a nice field of view that's not so zoomed in as the 3x, which probably would have degraded it. I just think that came out beautifully. But like I said, he's a pro, so I can appreciate what he's talking about. I just love the way he explains it. Whatever, it's still a useful option, and the image quality is good enough when it's not dim. And I'm watching for Mike to come in. The main camera has a usefully wider view. Apple broadened the main camera's field of view from an equivalent of 26 mm focal length. My mind has gone blank. To a wider angle 24. Okay. Especially given the option to shoot at 48 megapixels, I'm happy with that. Okay, let me get that again. Broaden the field of view, 26 to wider angle 24, especially given the option to shoot at 48 megapixels. Okay. Oh, that's right. I have seen some examples of the 24, and a lot of people seem to like it. So, okay. Many of us shoot indoors where it's impractical to walk backward to get everybody in the group's shot. So a wider field of view is justified. Yeah, you can always shoot with the ultra wide camera, but its worst image quality is really apparent when it's dim. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Shooting in 48 megapixel is slower. One downside to the high resolution photos, it typically takes more than a second to take a 48 megapixel shot. I guess that makes sense. After you tap the shutter button, it snaps a photo and the phone churns away for a moment before the shutter button becomes available again. So that means shaky hands, at least for me, probably. In contrast, taking the same scene at 12 megapixels is much snappier. If you're shooting fast-moving subjects, stick with the lower resolution. So I'm going to have to compare myself taking the 12 and the 48. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to be pretty shaky in the 48, but we'll see. I'd like an on-screen setting to switch between 12 and 48 megapixels so I don't have to dig into the camera app's format settings to change it. But Apple is famous for making you digging into the settings. That's always been true. But I understand Apple's preference for a simpler interface, uncluttered with buttons photographers might regret accidentally pressing. Okay. I'll mostly shoot at 48 megapixels, which what I would think a professional would do. Apple dials back the over-sharpening. One of my long-standing complaints about Apple Photos is that it sharpens images too much, cranking up too high the mathematical algorithm that emphasizes contrasting edges. The result is a crispy look that looks artificial and distracting to my eye. Indeed, one reason I shoot Pro RAW is so I can choose a lower level of sharpening. This guy's going to make me start using Pro RAW. I can see that. And Mike is here. There you are. How are you, brother?
I don't know if this is breaking news. I just got an email.
Okay.
I don't know if this will pick it up here. Let's see. Does that say?
It's there. Oh, hi there, but I can't read the rest.
Let
me see. Well, let me see if I can.
Well, see if it. I don't know why it's like that.
No, wait a minute. Let me see. See, I never used these. Oh, let me stop screen for one thing. All right, now I want you to be bigger, not me. And I don't know how to do it right, obviously.
You kicked me out. There we go. Oh, man.
All right, now, so hi there as a something Google. I can't read it all. Read it to us.
I've been asked to be a part of the Superfans.
Oh, Pixel Superfans. Yeah, I got a second one. I'm already part of Pixel Superfans with one of my Facebook IDs, but I have another one. Well, I got an invitation for that one too. So I'm probably going to end up being a Pixel Superfan in two different IDs.
Really?
Yeah, I've been part of Superfans since they started it.
What does this get you? It says here, member-only events.
It got me $20 off the off this watch when I bought the watch. No, not this watch. No. Oh, I'm sorry. It got me $20 off the Pixel Buds when I got the Pixel Buds.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gather occasionally you're going to get some discounts that other people don't get.
Exclusive Q&A with Pixel products and an engineering team, limited edition merchandise and surprise perks, membership to the private Superfan social community, to accept it. It just basically goes on. I'm just stoked to even...
I do have my Pixel Fan socks. I got
those.
Oh,
yeah. That's how people getting that?
Yeah,
wow. Okay, cool. Oh, that's cool. I was all excited.
Glad to see you, brother. Glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Gary.
I'm
You
here.
get socks and discounts, Mike. I'm a member already. See, Gary's a member too.
Okay. All right.
Probably from the beginning, like me. I think I was in the group like the second week it started. I think that's when I got accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, it got me the $20 off the Pixel Buds was the first real discount that I actually got. But I did get that $20 off, and I was grateful about that. You know.
Okay. All right.
So
I was excited just to even, I don't know,
cool
recognition. I don't know what else to say, but
it's hot. It's hot under my lights tonight. Don't know why. Anyway, let me go back and finish this.
Yeah. I'm just literally hopping, and I didn't even get a chance to tweet out that I'm
me
here.
all excited. Yeah, he got me all excited about this camera now, and this is the one I.
What are you talking about now? What are you talking about here?
The iPhone 14 Pro camera.
Yeah,
and this guy is a professional and a hobbyist. So, and he gives very detailed descriptions of all the pictures between the 14 and the 13, and he's admiring the heck out of the 14. So let me see if I can get this finished. Apple, I said the over sharpening. I'm happy to report that Apple has eased back because he said the problem has been over sharpening. Adobe Lightroom, the software I use to edit and catalog photos, shows sharpening set to 40 instead of 50 Apple has used for years. I still often dial it back still further to 20 or 30 to produce a more natural, less digitally processed look. And once again, I'll enlarge this in a sec. I like that the iPhone 14 Pro doesn't sharpen images as much. So let's go take a look.
I'm sharing a tweet out here.
Nice. Okay, that is, look at the detail. So he's saying this sharpening is better than Apple has done in the past. I just love the fact that he made it so we can enlarge these. Okay. So the blades of grass aren't distractingly crispy from over sharpening, a big problem I've had with earlier iPhones. This is default level, but I might dial it down a bit. I just think that looks beautiful to me. Your preferences may vary, of course. Adobe points out that people like more sharpening, contrast, and color saturation. Well, yeah, we're not pros, you are. When they're looking at photos on smaller screens, even if Apple is optimizing more for phone viewing, I still prefer sharpening that looks more natural to me. Yeah, get that bigger again. Those 48 megapixel photos take up more space.
Pickles.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If you're pondering how much storage to buy with a new iPhone, factor in the 48 megapixel images take up roughly 3 times as much space. Apple said that says the 12 megapixel shots are about 25 megabytes and the 48 megapixel shots are about 75 megabytes. Yeah, that's just 3 times more. That varies depending on whether you're shooting simple or complex scenes. The biggest sizes I found were for one scene busy with lots of leaves, 43 megabytes for 12 megapixels, 125 for 48. Wow, that's a big difference. Both shots were in Pro RAW and frame the same with the tripod. If you're shooting ProRes video, another high-end, that's going to really take up room. From Apple, factor in even more space. One 18-minute video I just shot in ProRes gobbled up 227 gigabytes of storage space. See, the advantage I have is anything that takes up a lot of space on any of my phones, I automatically offload them to the computer, and they're not on my phone anymore. So that's how I do. Because I'm like you, I only have the 99 cents a month with Apple, and I'm not buying anymore. I just find it easier to just offloading everything onto the computer, and I'm used to doing it. So the iPhone 14 Pro's camera bump is huge. That's right, we're at the end now. You can't get a big sensor into a phone without using a big lens, and the price you pay for the iPhone 14 Pro's better image quality is a chunkier phone. I don't want. I carry a DSLR around to hikes, birthday parties, and conferences, so you won't be surprised to hear I'm fine with Apple's choice. Yeah, I can see that. So that's what that looks like. Okay. And I think we're pretty much done with this. So I just think this guy did an excellent article. I think he did a great job of explaining why he thinks the phone is so much better, with the cameras are so much better, and he showed it to me in every shot that he took, especially the ones comparing with the iPhone 13. So I just thought that was a very, very good article. So anything you want to discuss? Because I'm down to my last story.
You know, is that the only article that you've come across in the publications is giving this much detail and giving this much more pizzazz? I don't know what the word is, pizzazz on the 14 over the 13, because I'm seeing and hearing and reading it isn't much of an upgrade between the two, from a 13 to
Well, that's one reason I'm glad I saw this article, because I've seen a lot of videos where some of them are saying, well, it's not much different from the 13. This guy's article says it's very different than the 13 if you're shooting at a higher level or closer to a pro level, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he's made me want to go use Pro RAW much more than I ever have before.
And then you got to get into color grading and stuff, don't you?
I don't think you have to. You can if you want to.
Well,
and I don't. Oh, Brian, what's Brian?
There was.
Don't be hating Mike. Apple cameras are pretty good. And you answered him. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I got to pump my chest. Be a fanboy.
In here. We got Don in here, so now we've got California, we've got Texas, we've got Oklahoma, we've got Jersey, and I think that's all.
There was a picture here. Let me see. Do you follow Delvon Digital?
No. But if you want me to show something, just
I'm trying to find. He did a thing where he showed RAW versus what the Pixel does, and I think it was. Don't hold to me. I thought it was a Pixel. He does a lot of photo stuff. He really uses the camera on the phone.
Okay.
And
to the fullest is what you're saying.
Oh yeah. He's got the eye for.
Well, now you said got ahead. I'm a Pixel Super. You haven't been accepted yet.
I've been accepted. I'm there. I'm just going to talk out of turn, like just like the politicians always, talk out of turn. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So
because it took it, I think it takes about a week or so for them to get back to you.
Come on, don't deflate me. Come on, man.
I'm just giving you my experience. Sorry. But you're just like me. When I first got the invite, I was all excited.
I just here it is. Let's see. Oh, okay. No. He showed the difference between RAW and JPEG, which is a lot of our processing does. At least I know in file. Because I run across this all
because it takes up so much space. But like I say,
how do I share? How do I share this?
You share it and I'll see it, and then I'll share it.
Where's the share? Oh, okay. I got it. Screen.
And then when I see it here, I'll share it here.
Chrome tab. There it is. Share. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Now I can.
Now I mean.
Okay. You can talk about it if you want. There you go.
But I mean, what I'm saying is RAW is just how and please, anybody in the audience, correct me, but how I understand is, see that picture, it's the RAW picture. That's how the camera took it. And then JPEG here, I would think it's been processed. So
it's been processed more, but you can certainly see the difference in the color of the pants. That's for sure.
Right. And then the color of the red, the brick.
And if you look closely, you can see the difference in the color of her shirt, for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. But see, this is what I'm saying.
Difference in the brick, yeah.
But the thing is, the RAW, I think this is when you get into color grading and playing with the Photoshop and doing all that stuff.
Well, it depends on what you want. Now, I can see why professionals like RAW better, because it's giving you more the real deal.
But are you going to have time? Are you going to put the time into?
You may not want color grading. That's my point.
Okay. Yeah. But if you're saying you're going to shoot RAW, you're referring to RAW out when you do your video comparisons, like
Well,
your
with
photo
video, it's going to be
comparisons?
huge. Yeah, I'll probably do it more with photo, but yeah, I could do it with. Like I said, I tend to copy everything off my phones onto my computers. And keep in mind, I've got 3 computers in this room, so
Hmm.
because I do not want stuff hanging around on my phones. Uh, Anthony says Apple
Okay. So you were also concerned, yeah, of taking up storage. Okay,
Yeah,
the raw does
I
take. Okay,
yeah, for years I
right.
copy everything onto my. Anthony says Apple cameras are really good. Still target use a Pixel or Samsung's cameras for picture and video. Let's see. Brian said, "I'm an equal opportunity. I bash Apple and Pixel equally." What else? That I didn't get in that. Let's see. And of course,
Anthony says, "I'd
Gary
rather
says
not
raw takes
target."
up a lot. Yeah, Gary says takes up lots. Yeah, I tend to take everything off my phones, so my phones
And then
rarely have.
and I'm guilty. I kind of forget about it, and then all of a sudden I get the oops, and then
Yeah,
I see all these. I go back like last few weeks. I'm like going, I gotta get rid of that because I know that's just taking up
yeah, and see, I never
space.
get those messages because I
Nah,
have
yeah,
years of copying stuff onto my computers, and then if it starts taking up room on my computers, then I start deleting them.
Well, I mean, I have a 2 terabyte right now.
Time to get Renz. Thank you so much, as always, sir. He's saying he's busy at work. Okay, well, hope you're not too busy, but as always, thank you so very much.
So let me ask you: did you get a 14, George? I can't keep up.
Yeah,
you were saying you were going to use your 12, trade your 12 in?
No, I'm not trading anything in this time. Period.
No. Okay.
No.
So you got
my Pro Max left Anchorage, Alaska about 2 hours ago. I watched it go from China to South Korea. Today it got to Anchorage, Alaska, and it left Anchorage, Alaska.
All of a sudden, I just
an hour and a half before I started broadcasting.
It's on a boat with a bunch of salmon and crabs.
No, they flew it over. I knew they had to flow it over because they're telling me I'll get it by next Tuesday or Wednesday. So I knew they had to put on a flight at some point. But yeah, I think it went from China to South Korea, though.
That's something.
Yeah. So they're telling me next Tuesday or Wednesday I should have it in hand. So we'll see.
And what color did you go with?
I went with the gold only because I figured nobody else would go for the gold. Plus, I'm going to cover with a case anyway. And I haven't gotten a gold one since the 6. What was the 6 Plus? iPhone 6 Plus. That was the last time I went with the gold. So I figured I'll go with the gold this time. And plus, I'm going to have a case at some point. Now, what's his name was sending me a case. What's his name?
Yeah. God. Oh God, I see his name, Caseborn. That's all.
And he checked my address and he said same address, right? And I looked at yes. Well, the cases haven't shown up yet, so we're waiting for the cases to show up. He never sent me a tracking number, so I'm waiting for the cases to show up. Let's see. Anthony is saying I'm skipping the whole iPhone 14 smartphone series this year. I'm on my own island, and that's okay. Now, see, Anthony is doing this year what I did last year. I skipped 13 everything. I'm going from a 12 Pro, and that's why I knew I was going to get the best 14 that I could.
Carl, I couldn't think of it. I could not think of it. Thank you.
Yeah. So Carl says, you haven't gotten these 2 days ago. He said to me, you haven't gotten the cases yet? And I said, no, nothing. And he said, that's weird. So I'm hoping I end up getting them. So.
Yeah. I'm as I said in my car vlog, I'm like, I'm not in a big rush, but I at times I really want to get the larger phone. I want the SE is a nice little phone.
Right.
And it's a powerhouse, but it's just too small. Battery life is taking a hit. I wonder what my health is now. It? And I've been using it split 50-50 and it's crazy. I can
use yours every day, I gather.
Yeah, well, yeah, in a
See,
way
I
I
don't
do.
use mine every day. I use mine every other day.
It's really my second phone. Now, if you need to call me, this is the number you're calling me on most of the
Right.
time. I haven't figured out my Android side to share with other people
Right.
because that's sort of changed. So the family has this as a backup. I made a mistake one day this week of leaving my personal number phone at work, and I just sent out a general
Boy.
message to everybody saying, "Call me on this one." Everybody has
Yeah,
this,
exactly. Yeah.
so. But I have customers and vendors, well, sales reps. That's the thing with iPhone is I remember I never forget this. I 2 or 3 people I said, yeah, I have an iPhone. I said, I just know it's just easier if we have to exchange something, photos or documents. And he goes, oh yeah, it's just a lot easier. And that
Right.
kind of that kind of, I don't want to say mentality, but that kind of like, and then that was that moment like, I'm going to have to integrate. This is supposed to be my channel phone. This is the phone
Right.
that if somebody needs to get a hold of me in this world, I'm
Right.
giving them this number. But on
Right.
the other hand, it's becoming more and more used for work
Right.
because of the platform. And
Right.
it's really something. It's really something how that comes into play.
Which kind of makes sense. I mean, you're talking about the Apple phones are the most best-selling phones in America, so that makes sense.
And there's been times that Android messaging still didn't come across to an iPhone with a photograph
Right.
because we all know they can pixelate at times,
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
battery, I'm curious, I haven't checked in a bit, but
Ryan, there's no true manual mode on Apple and Pixel, so their raw files are still based off their setting. That's probably true.
87% of the battery health I
So
have.
you're taking a little bit of a hit.
Yeah, I'm taking a hit now. Let's see, like today, I used it. I came home a little early. I shot 3 videos with it. 2 of them, like I said, a third time was the charm.
Right.
And then I pretty much by the time I got done and exported the video, it was like 15%. So I
Right.
had to throw it on the charge. Yeah,
Right.
I had to put it on the charge. So
Now, Big House, I wanted to acknowledge. He said he thought about getting a 14 plus, but not feeling eSIM at all. And I wasn't. The only reason I went, because I skipped the 13 entirely. I knew I was going to go with the best they had this year, and I said that 9 months ago even. So I'm just going to have to deal with eSIM. Now, what I'm used to, and Mike, you've seen this, I'm used to popping the SIM out of one, sticking it in other. Sometimes the SIM is in an Android, sometimes it's in an iPhone. From now on, the iPhone number is the iPhone number. Nothing else. Thank God I have 3 lines.
Sorry, but it's like going, it's a green bubble. Damn it.
Exactly.
And
you've
it's
said,
like,
is
this
this
the one I'm supposed to be digging him on,
Exactly. But from now on, once I get that phone, that number will be strictly for the iPhone.
I will then
change.
I'm
very glad
I
have
think
3
I got it
numbers.
in there as I think I have it in there as a, let's see what I have, George. I know I got certain ones. Yeah, I got George iPhone Hayes.
Right.
And I got George other Hayes. Okay. And then there's mobile geezer George. Okay.
Exactly. So when I do have the eSIM in, I will tell you this one is the iPhone and it's going to stay the iPhone. The other 2 will flip around, but that one will stay there.
Brian, your SE is on getting close to life support, 80%. Wow, I thought you were. Well, I knew you were doing iPhone too. I didn't know. I thought you were doing some Pixel there.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm surprised. Brian didn't even realize Brian had an SE.
So yeah, and that was a great article you sent me last night. That was interesting.
I thought you'd like it because
I'm gonna say for the most part, he's there's nothing wrong. Let me just say this: there's still maybe some things I'm going to point out in my video when I do it.
Some of my other quirks. Wrong for me. One major thing wrong with that phone.
What's that?
That's the one bottom speaker. I couldn't deal with a phone with one bottom speaker anymore. Too many years of two speakers now. So I don't think I could deal with that again. You know.
He says his Pixel 5 is a paperweight.
Well,
I use it as a doorstop. Why? What happened to it?
And my 5A is still good, but it does overheat if I shoot video. So I don't use my 5A to shoot video, but other than that, it's still great. Yeah.
No, you might be you that, and that's your thing. But I try to go with two mindsets when it comes to these phones or any of these phones. Is this a phone that, especially when you get these budget minded, not a budget phone, but a budget minded device, that I'm always asked, what do you think? What should I get? This phone here is really in the running to say, if you're a T-Mobile customer and the promo is still
for the average consumer, that makes sense. Oh, and here's Brian's answer. Same, because it overheats with video. So does mine. So does my 5A. Yeah.
Oh, so he's got an S21 FE. Oh, okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That's a shame. This is
what
it's
you
that
get
bad.
With the 5 and the 5A. It's real bad, because I was out there trying to do a comparison about 2 months ago. I can't even remember which phone the other phone was, but it was only like 83 degrees, and the 5A overheated enough that I couldn't do all the modes that I wanted to. And I told him, that's just how it was. So I use the 5A. I'll take it to work with me sometimes, but if I have to shoot any video, I'm not taking that. That's for sure. Oh, and I haven't done my this month's older phone yet. I'm going to try to get that done Sunday, and I'll either get the video up Sunday or Tuesday. But
what I was going to ask you, what are they all saying about the Pixel 7? I mean, I got this like crazy idea that I wonder if they're going to have really great trade-in value.
I'm wondering what the articles, a couple articles, because I'm saying people seem to be wondering, is it going to be an incremental upgrade, or
like an S model? Somebody referred one time.
Yeah, or a real upgrade. Now, for me, if it's an incremental update, well, that knocks it right out for me, because I'm spending all this money on my iPhone. I know I'm going to get the Pixel Watch, so if they don't give me a compelling reason to get the 7, I'm going to stick with my 6 Pro, because I love my 6 Pro.
My friend Joe, who was the one that had the flip phone that was on 3G,
right?
He got the 6A, and that is a nice little phone. I shouldn't call it little, but it is little compared to the 6 or some of these other phones.
Now, Brian says looks like an S model. If that's the case, then I'll be sticking with my 6 Pro, because I'm very happy with that, and I'm not spending. I'm getting towards the end of the year. Well, I don't have all this extra money.
Yeah. So
for months I knew I wanted this iPhone. For months I knew I wanted the Pixel Watch. So those two I'm getting.
How's those buds, by the way? How's those Pixel buds?
The Pixel buds are awesome, and I owe these guys a comparison, but I got hung up all week long. I've had this LG tone-free T90Q, which I haven't even showed the unboxing yet. I just haven't had time to put it up. But by next week, I will start comparing. But the Pixel buds, the Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, they're all awesome. And even my original buds too. They're all awesome.
What do you got in your ear now?
The Buds 2, the original Buds 2. So they're about a year old or something like that. So, but I think right now my Pixel buds and probably this new LG buds, probably the best thing. But of course, we got to see about the active noise canceling. They're all excellent active noise canceling. So trying to decide between them is going to be the main thing that's going to separate them, as far as me telling people what I think about them.
Yeah, I see Brian's comment. eSIM only is eSIM only is so dumb. Yeah.
A lot of people think that. Now, my impression from I've watched 4 or 5 people unboxing and putting in the eSIM. My impression, I hope I'm right, is that mine's not going to take me more than 5 minutes. We'll see. It seems like from the videos I've seen, the people that have had the biggest problem with eSIM is people on AT&T. Some of them on AT&T, no problem at all. Like Mr. Mobile, he had no problem. But
Yeah.
then other people, the people I've seen that have had problems are all on AT&T. Well, I'm on T-Mobile, and the T-Mobile ones I've seen pretty easy.
Talk about T-Mobile, by the way.
Okay.
Now, as I mentioned in my Monday's vlog, that we're talking about my going through with this Revel 6 Pro, finding out what it cost me. So I was waiting my turn, and it was like I didn't think of it. I thought I could walk in. It was like maybe they've been only open maybe a half hour, 45 minutes.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it's iPhone weekend. Yeah.
That's right. You mentioned that in the video. Yeah.
I'm like, wow. And there was one couple there. So they had an iPhone 10 or 10R.
Okay.
Because I could tell by the shape of the camera.
Right.
And I got talking to them, and they go, yeah, they're trying to find it, and they're going on. And I said, well, why don't you just try the Apple Store? And I'm trying to give them the thing of owning the phone, buy it outright. You have financing options and all that stuff. And he goes, nah, I just think I just go through here. It's just easier. I'm like, oh, wow.
See, I haven't thought in those terms in years, so I
just didn't. There was like. Yeah, they seemed, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe they had a certain color or certain spec they were looking for.
Could be.
Too, that we didn't get into the weeds about it,
and that could have been exactly what that store.
Yeah,
had.
they I got the impression that they've been looking for a day or two. I mean, it just got released.
Right.
So yeah. And I just want to respond to you were shocked that I went ahead and signed up for something like this. I mean,
I just don't think of YouTubers as signing up for 2 years anything anymore. So I was really shocked that you did.
Like I said, for the deal was presented to me, I was going to pay $50. Like I said,
right, and then I thought supposed to get it for free in the end.
Right. Well, they don't work that way. But even if I got it for free, even if I got it for $50. If I did what I thought was going to turn out,
right?
Right now, T-Mobile is really solid as much as we can complain about different things.
This is
as a whole, and
T-Mobile for the last 10 years.
I mean, I got their internet here; it's just killing it. They're going to be upgrading, especially the home internet. There's going to be upgrades coming out soon. They're finally. I follow Sneed Tech. Oh God, I forget it. I know him as Sneed.
Sneed Mobile Tech.
Yeah. He was talking about
the one who always gives the information on that.
Right. Well, he was talking in one of his videos saying that eventually they're breaking down. Finally, they're breaking down. They're going to put nodes out. They're going to put antennas out in places where they really are not really big on. They were just trying to saturate the area. And apparently they got this mid-band auction. They really killed it with that. And I mean, I read a few other things. Apparently, I thought, I got lucky.
I hear nothing but good things. But of course, they put it in Chattanooga, and it seems to be everywhere but my street. Can't get it on my street.
You can't get it on your street.
No. It's.
Have you checked again?
I've checked 4 times already. I check about once every 2 weeks, and I always get back. Oh no, we don't have it at your address yet. This is why I go up my
and that's amazing. You're streaming you're streaming off a hotspot. So that's what this is. This is a glorified hotspot.
I'm on my S22 Plus right now, and I find it much more dependable than depending on Comcast.
I will admit, since you mentioned about it a while ago, you've had I can't remember if you really had any issues.
In the 3 months I've been doing it, I think there was 1 week I had some issues like I used to have with the Comcast. But and with the Comcast, it was like every other week.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's something. But yeah,
Until I put it on my block, I'll just keep doing it this way. You know.
gotcha.
And yeah, and see, I didn't know Gary said Best Buy won't sell you an iron unlock. But glad I didn't. A couple of times I thought I should have.
Yeah,
Best
see,
Buy.
that's
Well, I'm glad I didn't because I will only deal with. Well, I mean, I would take a T-Mobile if I had to.
they
unlocked.
How I understand is that you could get an. I think it most of their phones, especially the one they're new,
right?
You can get a phone, pay for it, but you have to go under a carrier. Now somehow.
Yeah, see, I've gotten a couple of phones from Best Buy where I just paid straight up. But yeah,
that's right. That's right. That's right. That was the trick. That funny you mention that. I paid extra. In a way, I could have gotten my S22 cheaper if I went with a carrier
because they
paid for the phone, went on the carrier, lived with the carrier for I don't know how many weeks. It's only weeks, and then cut the service. But yet I need to be on that carrier to get that.
Yeah,
which is insane. I kind of it was a knee jerk reaction, but I did see they had Google Fi, in which I kind of like, I paused and I just, no, I want it. I want the phone for me. And I paid, what is it, like 19 or $20 for the difference to get the S22 and walk away with it.
right.
But that was about the only option that was in there that I like going, okay, because I didn't want Verizon. I wouldn't want AT&T. I don't want to mess with my T-Mobile. And that's where I'm at with T-Mobile is with my plan's so old. There's a lot of things, a lot of promotions that come out and they want you to upgrade to their Magenta Max.
Me
and
too.
I'm
I just stay on mine because I had my original 2 lines. No, I had original 3 lines before we got divorced, and my 4th line was free that they gave it to me, and I just paid the tax every month. So then after Elle and I split, she got her own line. I still have 3 lines, but one of them is still free. So I'm not going to mess with that.
That's what I got. I got 2. I got 2 free lines, and one of them is Pat's.
Okay.
So that alone is gold. Right there, that's gold right there.
Gary's asking Metro. See, I won't use Metro. Rita had Metro.
Yeah.
But me, I just stick with T-Mobile. I've been with T-Mobile 12 years. Now, of course, we were with Sprint for 11 years before that. So.
Metro is, I mean, I can't vouch, but I would imagine Metro is essentially T-Mobile, just the prepaid side. Instead of T-Mobile having prepaid like Verizon has prepaid, they just have Metro.
In the end, it was Metro by T-Mobile.
Mm-hmm. It still is. I think that's how I think they worded it anyway.
That's how they ended it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really used this phone a lot for 5 days.
You really seem to like that phone. I'll say that.
And I do like the phone. I do want to try to have what comes to my mind is I do want to kind of I got to share my time like this. I got to put more love towards the OnePlus 9 and my Pixel.
I'm just going to ask you about that.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I'm sorry, I can't help myself. What came to my mind is I'm going to be Android stud and the Poco phone with this phone to a point.
Jay Will has that phone too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, you see that TCL that he was out there in California? I think
I saw he had the TCL, but I haven't had time to watch it.
That looks like a nice phone too. It looks.
I tend to like TCL phones. Like I don't know. This was my ZT. Oh, I gave away my TCL 10 Pro yesterday. I was using my ZTE.
What is that one?
This is the Axon 20. Like a year and a half ago. And I used it yesterday just because I hadn't used it, and I like it.
Did you get any updates on it?
Yeah. What's the latest update? I forgot what the latest update is, but yeah, it's not up to date, but this one's close because it's not that old.
Big House.
Yeah,
definitely.
House. He wants to see more coverage.
Yeah, I'm guilty. I'm guilty, but it just like I said, I was also it's like for the OnePlus 9, and then all of a sudden I saw this video from TechRite. I think he was. That's what. Blame him. He was the one that turned me on to all this. Okay. And then he shared the article from Phone Arena, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh well, whoa! And I Googled. I went into the account. I looked at the thing. I'm like, oh, $50. I can't go wrong with this. I can't go wrong with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
You said I'm guilty, and boy, you kicked off a song in my head. It's a song by Randy Newman, but you have to be a big Randy Newman fan to know.
Okay.
I used to sing it when I was doing a single act.
Big House. I really would like to do, and I'm going to try my best to do, like and I talked about it before, a day in life, but more of a weekend in life. Somebody suggested, which I think it'll work out better.
It was me that suggested.
Is that what it was?
We were talking about Serrano.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, weekend with the 1+9, and I gotta work on get working on that. So
yeah.
But
so my big thing for this weekend is getting that. It's going to be a very short unboxing video for this Buds, and then getting up my older phone for this month by Sunday or Monday, because I haven't done this month's yet, and then start doing my comparisons with these earbuds. And I think I'm probably going to be getting more and more into these earbuds. Now, of course, a month from now, normally I switch between my Galaxy Watch 4 Classic and my Apple Watch SE every other day.
Well, did you get the update? I don't mean to interrupt. Did you get the update for your... Yeah, for the Watch 4?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I was looking at. I got a notification. I shared it.
Yeah, I would. Whenever I update my phone, I automatically go update my iPad and my watch. Although it took me 2 days to get the watch update to go through.
For what? For which watch? This one?
No. The Apple Watch. But but I'll be switching every 3 days once I get the Pixel Watch, because I'll be wearing the Pixel Watch one day, the Apple Watch one day, and the Galaxy Watch one day. But that's just how it is. So on the days that I wear the Pixel Watch, I'll probably be using the Pixel 6 Pro. Because right now, the days that I wear this watch, I use the S22 Plus, because that's the one that gives me the most data for this watch, especially on the days that I'm exercising. Like Fridays, I don't exercise. Tomorrow, I'll be exercising, but I'll be back on the Apple Watch. Maybe cutting grass. We'll see.
You still cutting grass down here, huh?
I'm a kind of fanatic about it, and when Eleanor's working, that's the time for me to cut grass, because she's allergic to every grass in the state. I'm not. So she cuts grass, she gets sick. I cut grass, I get healthier. Big difference. So I know she's working tomorrow, so if I'm going to cut grass, that's the day to do it.
It's a pretty big update for this watch.
Okay. Yeah, I could do it. The update, the update was days ago, wasn't it?
Well, I just got it just today.
It's just today. Oh, okay.
Yeah. New says watch face. Enjoy new and improved watch faces with enriched style and customized options. 6 new watch faces: Pebble, Flower, Garden, Info. More customizable options added for existing watch faces, dial indexes, character, color, complications.
I already have it.
Okay.
Just checked. Yeah. So,
new complications have been added. Watch home screen. Add watch face as your favorite. Huh. There's a lot.
Gary's saying, thinking about getting the Pixel Watch if I don't trade in my 6. Yeah, I've been determined to get it as soon as it comes out.
I'm on the fence with this watch. I really am. Want to see what this is going to be like.
Big House is with me. He'll be cutting grass tomorrow morning too. So.
Well, George, actually, talk about cutting grass. You saw the size of my lawn, my 40 acres. I got to cut tomorrow too.
That's true. Yes. Now, see, tomorrow, if I cut her front grass the other day. That's like 35 minutes. Cutting the back, that's an hour and 15, hour and 20
And there's a hill you got to. Is there a hill you got to go?
And it's up and down the hill. So those are the days I tend to probably not ride the bicycle. But when I finished cutting her grass last week, she said, "Aren't you going to ride the bike?" And I had done an hour and 20 minutes already. I said, "Well, I guess I'll go." So I did 10 miles on the bike rather than 17 or 18 like I usually do. So it turned out I actually ended up doing a lot of exercise that day. So I'll probably try to do the same thing tomorrow. But we're going out to dinner sometime 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So.
Big house. Wait a minute. I want to hear from George. Explain to the big house what my 40 acres is like. Okay.
If you could walk his 40 acres in about 2 minutes, I'd say, Mike.
No, less than that. Less than that.
Okay.
Less than that. If you're, not mowing it, but
it's you've seen it, Big House. Because
yeah. If you
the times that he's done some video walking from his front to backyard, that's it.
Yeah, I did just now with that short video on the random photos and video.
Yes,
I'm walking from the back, walking to the front, and then went up to the tomato plant. That's what I was.
From that video, the pictures looked okay to me.
Mm-hmm.
The video I thought was terrible.
Oh, yes.
First second I saw it, I'm like, "Oh, that's awful."
No stabilization at all. No stabilization at all. Yes.
Yeah.
And then that's the only downfall. This is so far the only. I got another one. I don't want to spill too much, but the other downfall is it doesn't. You have to tap. You have to actually tap.
Tap
on the screen to tap the focus, where it doesn't really pick up on something. Where a lot of our phones do.
You mentioned that in one of your videos.
Did I? Okay. Well, I'm like I said, I really want to try and get a really detail on this phone, and share my thoughts with it. The biggest thing is how. Go ahead. What's that?
With Big House. I want to see more coverage on the OnePlus also.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah. So I'm gonna. Wow,
so I'm going to end up skipping the last story because I don't want to make it too long. But I am going to do glowing rectangles because Ted will have a fit if I forgot to show.
Is that helicopter coming in on the audio?
I don't hear a helicopter. I don't hear anything.
No,
in the background. No. Right, I'm going to share screen. And of course, I do this every week, folks. I'm going to tell you about glowing rectangles, which is where you can get some coverage or some exposure for yourself or somebody else. And I've got her talking in my ear again. Stop that. Okay. So if you go to, let me take off some of my branding stuff here. Where are you? Okay. So if you go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, this is a place where you can get some exposure for yourself, for somebody else, video, blog, whatever you got, you can put it here daily. People will vote on it. This was started by some gadget guy, Juan Bagnell, and he maintains it. And it's a great place for people get some exposure. And if you click on top, then you can see I've got today. So this will show what got the most upvotes today. It's got 7 votes. Android Digest, Samsung Galaxy Tab.
Android Digest? Is that who that is?
Yeah.
He's a pretty cool dude.
Okay. So he got 7 votes. Oh, did you see in my first story that there's a brand new rugged phone and tablet?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
But is it going to cost $4 million? Like
I think it's going to cost a lot of money since they're saying it's going to be geared towards businesses and that kind of people who really need,
Did you see the one that Forbes did? That
no.
was a. Oh yeah, he had like a 300.
I saw it. I never had a chance to watch it. Yeah, and
it's a $300 rugged phone, and it looks pretty tough.
I had never heard of it. What was the name of it? Do you remember?
AGM.
Okay. Yeah, I had never heard of that.
Of course, it's going to be a Chinese branded, phone, but But out of the gate, whoa, is that Serrano?
That's Serrano.
And what is he placed?
He got Samson. He's got 3 votes. He's 4th from the top, and he's doing Galaxy Note 8 versus TCL Stylus 5G.
He's doing a hell of a job, man.
Yep, yes, he is. Let me give him an upvote over here. Okay, now he's got 4 votes. Do you remember a couple of years ago when he was showing that app that would show you what you'd look like when you get older and that kind of stuff? Well, it also showed what you'd look like when if you went younger. So I, of course, went younger, right? When I did it younger, he was the first one to say, we could be brothers. And it's true. We did. When it showed me as a 30-something, we looked very much alike. It was amazing. Oh, your big house said it's AGM. Does he ever forget anything? He remembers everything. You got some memory, brother. Anyway, all right. So, Glowing Rectangles. Go post whatever video blog you want, whether it's yours, whether it's somebody else's. There's your place to go look. So I'm going to stop that sharing screen. So, anything else?
Do you have the Reddit? Do you use Reddit for anything else other than that?
No. I follow a little bit of Surface stuff on Reddit, but not much because I have the Surface Pro 8. But mostly that, And of course, Ted sees to it that your stuff and my stuff automatically get uploaded there anyway.
What? Our stuff does?
Yes.
Does
you didn't know that?
Yeah, I didn't know he did that. No. Well, thank you.
He did that about 3 weeks ago or a month ago, where it'll automatically upload any video you do, any video I do.
Oh, wow. So my car vlogs are getting up there, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Ted. Thank you.
Let me go back and make sure today's is there. I'm thinking.
No, I just watched
you
YouTube.
You only did it just before we got here. I wonder if today's is here. But I know last week's was there.
Reddit is just a big rabbit hole. That's the only thing that scares me about.
I just think Reddit is there's too much confrontation.
Well, there can be, but with a group
everybody wants to argue. I'm not much for arguing. You're not there yet, but I think it's going to upload automatically sometime. Oh, there you are. Yeah, it's there. It's already there.
Okay, cool.
And you've got 2 upvotes. Well, now you've got 3 upvotes. So there.
Well, Ted, if you're watching, thank you. I saw Ted was in the audience for a time. Okay. Just as when I typed the message, I was coming up here.
Okay. All right. So I'm good for tonight.
I'm good. I wanted to get in here and just say hi and
well, I'm glad you got in.
And there's just like I said, I got that news and I'm like, oh boy, I'm gonna sign up right as soon as I get done here. I'm gonna go and sign up for it. So
all you gotta do is answer their questions and fill out. Just tell them about yourself. That's basically
okay.
What it is.
I will.
Okay.
So that's cool.
All right, brother.
Can't wait to get my
socks. Came in. Everybody, thanks for coming in. And Brian says he hates cutting grass, but of course, for me, it's exercise. So anything that gives me exercise, I'm all for. That's just me. Anyway, I hope everybody has a very blessed weekend. Oh, Ted says, great job, guys. Thanks for stopping.
Thanks, Ted.
Yeah, Ted spent almost all of last week with me. So
awesome. I call it part of that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So everybody have a blessed weekend and
take care, everybody.
And I need to say, like I say in all my other videos,
I was going to say, go ahead.
And keep in mind, we all do better when we love each other.
And enjoy your tech.
Exactly.